Megastars Wrestling and Iron Survivor qualifier matches. What wasn't to love about WWE NXT? Chase University came to an end. That's probably one thing not to love, but if we're being truthful before we get into it properly later on in this NXT recap next week, it's a brand new week. Put it in your diary, the 25th of November. I've heard there's been a lot of hype. You're going to get full reviews because guess what, folks? There'll be no more tape shows probably for about a week, and then it'll be Tape Shows City. But Fog Wrestling will be back with all the reviews that you can expect. But as for Chase University, right, I feel like with everything good in wrestling these days, it gets dragged out, and eventually by the end of it, it's not so good anymore. I think perfect examples of this is the Bloodline. You look at the Bloodline, and yeah, the stuff they're doing right now is not particularly bad, but in order to drag it out to the next decent thing, there is some bad in there, like Roman Reigns taking like 6 months off at a time. You had like Jimmy Uso not being there. Paul Heyman's not currently there. You were running around with the Tammy Tongas and the Tongaloas of this world, just being absolute jobbers. The Wyatt Six debut, it's like, oh, they've killed half the roster. This looks intriguing. It falls flat on its face. Just many things like that. Carmelo Hayes, good in NXT. Same with Braun Breaker, called up to the main roster. They're arsefolds. The University, Chase University, it never had a place on the main roster. They've absolutely made the correct decision here. But it's a decision, personally, for me, that should have happened a few months ago. Hell, easily. I think you could argue over a year ago. Chase University could have closed its doors. But anyway, let's open the doors to this show as we kicked off with a 2024 Men's Iron Survivor Challenge qualifier match. Nathan Fraser against Eddie Thorpe. Nathan Fraser wins. Andre Chase then cuts a promo. He says, "It's not going to die tonight, Chase University. We're a staple in the NXT universe and I will become number one contender." Can I defeat Ridge Holland? Well, based off the opening 2 minutes to this video, you clearly know he didn't. Keilana Jordan then tells Mr. Stone and Stevie Turner that she wants to battle Giulia in the Iron Survivor Challenge qualifier match. Brilliant. Giulia then cuts a promo. Wasn't that good, was it? It was never going to be that good for Giulia. We have Stephanie Fakir in a qualifier match for the Iron Survivor. She defeats Jada Parker. Can we be really surprised? To be fair, Parker was protected in the finish of this match because Lola Fice got involved. But it was the package backbreaker that made Fakir pick up the victory. We then had Dion Lennox hyping up Brynlee Reese ahead of their mixed tag team match tonight. It then cuts to Roxanne Perez. She's enjoying her time off on vacation. And she sees, who's going to lose tonight? She wishes everybody luck in the Iron Survivor Women's Challenge. Who will it be? Who knows? Sol Ruka then tells Perez that she'll see her after NXT Deadline. We then cut to Tony D'Angelo taking on Brooks Jensen. Tony D'Angelo wins. Angelo gets beat up here by Jensen after the match, and he gets stood over. See, Brooks and Jensen, these are two guys going nowhere. Oh, the two rednecks. It's Trevor Murdoch and Lance Cade. Maybe about 18, 19 years ago. It's mad to think that 2006 is that long ago, folks, but it just is. Going nowhere. Lexus King says, "This is the journey about me showing the best version of my..." This guy fucking sucks. I actually could not care anymore. You know what? Do everyone a favour. Either two things, right? Try and recreate the Brian Pillman's Got a Gun segment, or just take his name back. Do something. Or get released. That's your third option, because you're doing nothing. Ashante, De Adonis, and Carmen Petrovic taking on Dion Lennox and Brynlee Reese in a mixed tag team match. Ashante, De Adonis, and Carmen Petrovic pick up the win. Reese slapped Adonis in the face. Petrovic connects with a roundhouse kick for the victory. Ridge Holland then tells Sarah Schreiber backstage that Andre Chase picked the wrong time to gapple his university. Relationships will be destroyed tonight. Ridge will become number one contender and Chase University will go away. See Ridge Holland, why did he I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it was a promotion, him going into NXT, because definitely is more of a demotion. But like, the guy was injuring people left, right, and center. And now he's number one contender for the NXT Championship, and he's actually had like a prominent role in NXT for a decent while now. Mental. We then had Saria taking on Ren Sinclair. I wonder who won this. An absolute jobber or a self-proclaimed megastar? It was Saria that picked up the victory. We then got to Tony D. He says to Ava that he's willing to give Sean Spears a title shot, but Eddie Thorpe has livid that Ava won't refer to the decision of the qualifier earlier on, due to outside shenanigans with the NXT tag division. Sean Spears, he's been looking the part the past couple of weeks with his wee sunglasses. At least he looks relatively alright. I mean, this guy's gimmick like 8 years ago was just coming out as number 10 in the Rumble each year. Got fucking old very quick. Right, we then had the Fallon Henley segment with JC Jane, Jasmine Nix, and Lash Legend, Nikita Lyons. They get into a big brawl. Paxley then stands up on top, standing tall, with the NXT North American Women's Championship. Brilliant. Ethan Page then has a vignette. XAM turns out he'll be battling Ethan Page in an Iron Survivor qualifier match. That'll be next week. But they will have to face each other, XAM and Nathan Fraser, at Deadline, if he qualifies. So, are we going to get that next week? No. I mean, Ethan Page is a jobber, right? But I would kind of be shocked if he lost to XAM. You can't be, winning NXT titles, losing them, getting rematches, etc., and then actually lose XAM. Man, this guy's an absolute jobber. He's like a wrestling version of Excalibur who can't speak English. It's mental. Rich Holland against Andre Chase in the main event. If Andre Chase lost, Chase University must disband. And you guessed it, folks. They disband it. Big Andrew Chase looked completely disheartened, depressed, mental at the end as the show goes off the air. It's the correct decision. Alright, Chase University has to come to an end. I feel like when you book these matches, it's always better. I mean, I guess you could say but then it's not a retirement thing. It's simply one of those one-off stipulations. I'll put it up on the line then. It's not like Andrew Chase is going to wrestle for the next 6 months and each match the guy was in, the university was up for grabs. I feel like you can't do that with that sort of stipulation, but if it's like a veteran's career, you definitely can. Anyway, that's your NXT recap. As you know, it's null and void. You can't rate it, but it's another show that mediocre, and the rating was probably up on what it's been doing recently, but we'll get into that in a later fed.